Good morning, traders. Manny Cabrera here, founder of MDC Trading Academy, with today's pre-market forecast for the end of week, Friday, July the 9th. Let's just do a quick review of the news for this week and to see if we have anything on the docket for today. As we can see, we have nothing on Friday, June the 9th for meetings. We have the G20 meetings, but nothing of consequence reference to reporting during our trading hours and or just prior to it. But next week seems to be a very heavy oriented news week. So we have to keep our eyes open for those particulars. Always a good habit to do a preview of these reports as part of your market preparation for the weekend, also for the morning. Let's quickly jump to our market. As we can see, for the first time in weeks, since way back when here in let's see if I can get 615, where we began our first substantial or significant retracement. We went below the 20 SMA, so on and so forth. Then we had the rally all the way to the all-time high. This is our first significant sell-off that we've had in quite some time, which is very healthy for markets. Remember, markets cannot go straight up all the time or straight down all the time. There has to be some sort of steam let off. You know, if you're heading to the upside, you got to sell. If you're heading to the downside, you got to start buying. You have to start setting up positions. So a little profit taking, again, hovering just over the 20 SMA and between the new all-time high. That's where we find ourselves today. And obviously, when we begin to sell off a little bit, we start to see the spike in volume, and of course in the ATR. This is a very predictable market, but nonetheless, the main trend line has continued straight down in reference to our volatility and also generally for our volume as we continue to suffer from the summer doldrums here. And though the volume has recovered a little bit, we're still quite under our 1.1 million contract average, which is the minimum average that we're looking for in order to participate in markets that we consider markets that provide greater number of opportunities, and they're more efficient and a lot easier to trade. Let's look a little bit under these numbers behind the curtain here. As we can see in this time frame here, this is the new all-time high that we have established. This is our entire week. If you notice, we have a whole lot less activity. This is the end of the week, beginning of the week here. A whole lot less activity that we've had since we began this process. Notice on the market sell-off, the market sold off to a particular expected support area. These areas become, the reason that we demark these particular areas is because there's significant pivots. And as you can see, ultimately when the market returns to them, they do react there. So this is where we are right now. Market kind of consolidated there until it eventually broke off. And here's a confirmation that the market's strength, at least since this sell-off, has tried to return. Now, let's keep this into perspective. We're talking about our last real major down here. We're talking about June the 20th. June the 20th was our low here at about 41.27. We've had a continuous straight run to the all-time highs. But if we put it into perspective, this is essentially, it's not even a 38% retracement. So that helps us to keep this in perspective. So this is no reason to panic. It's just common market movement. What are we looking for in the market this morning? Now, let me get my chart here. Here's where we are right now. This is the intraday low established yesterday late and our early morning intraday low. Market clearly breaks above it in the pre-market, but if you notice, the market kind of expanded here. This is the expansion market where you see the higher highs and their lower lows. Higher highs and lower lows. That's not a trending market, it's an expanding market trying to find a direction. Of course, it slams into the new intraday high, all-time high. So this is where the market is going to be dancing initially this morning. It's going to be between this intraday high and this pre-market, the all-time high and the intraday high. This is our first area of movement. Here's where the market is going to be kind of oscillating potentially between these areas until eventually it determines that it wants to either move a little higher or it wants to come and try to move lower. That's basically the play for today. And here is very dangerous trading. It's a lot of chop. So be careful in this area here. The best thing to do is be prudent and wait for some sort of breakout with confirmation. And please don't forget, place your stops first. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next week.